First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
A gunman at the Florida State University last night shot and injured 3 students before being confronted and killed by police. Today, police identified the gunman as Myron May, an FSU alum in his 30s who had gone off to law school in Texas before later returning to Florida. Investigators are still searching for the motive.
The FSU campus shooting is the state's top story on this Thursday, November 20th. I'm Taylor Nunez.
And I'm Larissa Scott. Thanks for joining us. Students at Florida State University gathered for a vigil earlier today and are meeting again now to come together in the wake of last night's shooting. Students held hands in a circle, some silently humming the FSU war chant. This incident has not only united Florida State University, but also organizations and students at the University of Florida through social media.
I truly was scared because I didn't know if they were at the library or if they weren't at the library. They live in their apartment a little further off campus, so I didn't think they would have been at the library, but I never know. So I was definitely worried, especially because it was my friend's birthday. I was freaking out, but it was good to know that they were safe when I texted them.
The new president, John Thrasher, was in New York at the time of the shooting. He returned to Tallahassee immediately to address students and faculty.
We're going to take steps to do the things that we need to do for the families, for the students of this campus.
Governor Rick Scott joined Thrasher at FSU's campus to call for prayers for the victims. And last night's incident also prompted a response here in Gainesville, where University of Florida police took precautions on campus by increasing safety patrols.
WUFT's Nicole Acevedo spoke to UPAD today about the local response. Nicole, what did they tell you?
Ladies, University of Florida police say because the attack was at FSU's library, UPD wanted to make sure the students at UF's big library felt safe. Even though it was over 2 hours away, UPD felt it was necessary to make sure students here felt safe after hearing about the shooting. So they decided to boost police presence around Library West last night. I spoke to Officer Jeff Holcomb this afternoon. He says there are usually about 13 officers on duty at night, and last night about 6 to 7 of those were circling the area between University Avenue and Newell Road. He also told me that UPD has been training to deal with these types of scenarios since the Virginia Tech massacre in 2007.
What we realized is you can't wait for a negotiator and a SWAT team to respond. Basically, we had to transfer to what I said called earlier the direct to threat response, meaning the initial officers on scene will go directly in the building and locate that threat as quickly as possible. So that's really how we train in our training scenarios, where we'll have gunshots simulated, where officers have to respond in. We'll use depending upon the style, sometimes paint pellets, where we're actually fired upon with paint guns as we respond to that, just to kind of simulate a little more realistic approach to the training.
Unfortunately, when it is real, Holcomb says there's often nothing to predict or totally prevent the violence from starting. It can happen in an area away from the patrols, so police depend on bystanders to quickly report any threats or fights of gunfire, which is exactly what happened at FSU, and the police arrived to engage with the gunman within just 2 minutes of the call.
So, Nicole, has the University of Florida's administration said anything?
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Actually, UF's president actually released a statement, and he says, quote, "We are truly saddened by today's shootings at Florida State University. I know everyone at the University of Florida community joins me in sending our heartfelt thoughts and prayers to the victims and to the entire FSU community. Today, we are all FSU."
Thank you, Nicole. Well, earlier today, 2 more calls were made to Gainesville High School claiming a bomb threat was made on campus. However, in light of yesterday's evacuation and early dismissal, Gainesville police did not consider them active threats. GHS was not evacuated today, just searched again, and GPD is still looking into those who made the calls. So, Larissa, I actually woke up today. There was frost on the ground, which is a bit of a surprise, and I'm just thinking, where is that nice fall weather?
Well, not tonight. A frost advisory is in effect for many counties tonight. UF forecaster Morgan Falcon is live in the Weather Center with more.
Taylor, Larissa, you are absolutely right. Right behind me, I'm showing you the frost advisory that's taking effect in counties across north central Florida. A lot of counties here are under that frost advisory. Now, here, if we see the live cam over UF, you can see a lot of clouds have started to move in over campus and really across all of north central Florida. And those clouds are actually going to help to keep temperatures from lowering too much overnight, so we won't see temperatures as cool as we did last night. But you can still see temperatures are going to be cool, going to be near freezing in some parts, and even in Ocala they're expecting possibly sub-freezing temperatures there. That's because they aren't getting as much of the winds that we're going to see here, or they're getting more winds down south than we are seeing here in north central Florida. Those temperatures in Gainesville, 33 degrees. Here's a look at your hour by hour. By 8 o'clock, we will start to see those temperatures fall. Really after sundown, after 6 o'clock tonight, those temperatures are going to fall pretty rapidly. 37 degrees already by midnight, but again, not dipping as low as they were last night. We're not going to see any temperatures in the 20s tonight, but of course that frost advisory is still in effect for north central Florida counties. And coming up later on in the show, I'll have more on some records that we saw broke last night. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Morgan. Tonight, President Obama will announce sweeping changes to our immigration system. The changes will allow millions of people in America without proper documents to stay, and he will do it by executive order, bypassing Congress and infuriating Republicans. NBC's Steve Handelsman has more.
2 miles from the White House today were Carlos Diaz and his sister Sofia. They were born in the U.S., so their mother Olivia and their father, who came from Mexico without documents, might no longer face deportation under the executive order that President Obama will announce tonight.
Nos quedamos aquí con los niños.
We can stay here with the kids, Olivia says. The children need their mother here. The Obama move is focused on families, say top Senate Democrats.
If they've been here at least 5 years, we give them a chance to come out of the shadows, play by the rules.
But it is a new rule. With U.S.-born kids, up to 5 million parents stay in the U.S. and get work permits. Not fair, say Republicans.
How in the world do you explain it to people who have waited patiently year after year, trying to do it the right way?
Democrats admit it's a half-fix.
Administrative action is a Band-Aid, but it is better than nothing.
Republicans vowed to block the executive order.
If President Obama acts in defiance of the people and imposes his will on the country, Congress will act.
A big change just ahead for immigrants like Jose Bonilla, who might get to stay in the U.S. with his American son Manuel, and a big political fight just ahead. I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC News, Washington.
Constitutional scholars will join people on both sides of the aisle in closely following whatever is announced. Supporters point to a need for reform, but critics are focused on both the result and the process, and the many times President Obama previously said he couldn't act on his own.
It would be great. It would be great for those people who are working here and want to better themselves and better society.
So President Obama stating that he doesn't like the fact that the House of Representatives hasn't acted, he's going to do it on his own. Most Americans should really have a problem with that.
We'll all find out tonight at 8 p.m. in a live speech you can see here on WUFT TV.
The executives from the maker of airbags at the center of a recall spoke before a Senate committee looking at the defects that have led to 5 deaths. Takata's senior vice president for quality told the Commerce Committee that any recalls should just be limited to the high humidity areas. But the senators are calling for a nationwide recall, and the drivers injured by their faulty airbags are asking for car dealerships to be held responsible.
The Honda dealership never told me about the recall. They never performed the recall repairs on my vehicle, and they never warned me about what might happen if my airbags deployed. They did nothing.
But we recognize that even one customer who is injured or loses their life when an airbag does not perform as intended is one too many and is completely unacceptable.
Senators hope today's hearing prompts the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to issue a nationwide recall of passenger side airbags in addition to the recall of driver side airbags. And still ahead on WUFT News, This week we've seen record-breaking amounts of snow from the lake effect in New York. More on its devastating effects when we come back.
Plus, next time you look down at your cell phone to send a text, you may want to think twice. We'll have that story after the break.